All right, welcome back, Tulsi Kratz and curiosity seekers here. I'm Dave, and this is Save America Vote, Tulsi Gabbard. This article comes to us from Newsmax, a very tribalist site on the right. These people are pretty much for every endless war we're in. They have very little to add to the national conversation. They are just in lockstep with the usual right-wing talking points. So their interest in this particular idea here that they're promoting, I don't know. John Gizzi reports here, Libertarians hoping for Justin Amash, Tulsi Gabbard ticket. First of all, hard to reconcile Tulsi's views on things like Medicare for all and free college education for at least public universities, and also the $15 minimum wage. Those are all non-starters for most libertarians. I tend to be very libertarian on most things, so I'm kind of comfortable in the Libertarian Party. But the Libertarian Party is not going to be the party for the little guy who's struggling. That's the issue. There needs to be some libertarian enzymes mixed in with some progressive ideas. I think that would be a winning combination. This guy who's running for Senate in Arkansas seems to be all of that, and his name slips my mind right now. Aging does kind of suck at times. All right, but let's take a look at this article. This is interesting, though, that the speculation is beginning about this. Look, Tulsi is in the single digits. I love her, and I want her to win. And she could, she had a great debate performance, and it just shows you how strong the media is at squelching or tamping down on the excitement that people were experiencing after her debate performance, and how she was most Googled and pretty much the most talked about candidate in that first debate. And I quite honestly think she technically won both debates, because she put out some things that nobody else was talking about. Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders does a great job, and Bernie's poll numbers have been very steady, which is good news. Again, I worry about Bernie as far as his ability to kind of cut through the BS and actually take on the military-industrial complex. But I've said I'll take a look at Bernie if Bernie actually becomes the nominee. We'll, cross that bridge when we get to it. Anyway, everybody's excited that Justin Amash left the Republican Party. I am too. You know why? Because anytime a politician ditches on either the Republicans or the Democrats, it makes me happy, because it is a small step in the right direction where this country goes like non-denominational when it comes to political parties. I think that is really what we need to be. And look, the Libertarians are out there. They're a decent party. They do pick up support, and they tend to be, I think, your third largest party. I think that's what they tell everybody. I like some of what the Green Party is about as well. I think there are elements in both those parties that need to come together, and we need, an economic populist party where we mind our own business on the world stage. We only go to war when it's absolutely 100% necessary, and there has to be a very high bar to go over. But the Libertarians are pretty much a non-interventionalist bunch. So depending, if you get too tribalist, you're going to have Trump versus, say you have a Trump-Biden or a Trump-Harris, presidential matchup, or just, I don't know, pick your corporate candidate. Right now, it's everybody's talking about Kamala Harris. A couple weeks ago, they were talking about Elizabeth Warren. I'm not sure who they're going to run up the flagpole next. They won't run Tulsi Gabbard up that flagpole, so there is very little hope that she's going to be the nominee. And what they're really trying to do is prevent Bernie. They're trying to prevent defense on Bernie. That's why they ran so many candidates. And they told people who have no chance, governor of what, Montana or whatever, I don't know what state it is, but it's like, really? Why? Why are you in this? In any event, people in Michigan are pretty happy about this. Tom Uter, a veteran Libertarian Party activist, said that he hopes that Amash runs for president, and a lot of people are now speculating that Amash could pick Tulsi Gabbard as VP. Now, here's the way you do this, though. You don't run as a libertarian. You just don't do it. You run as an independent, and you start working today on ballot access, today, because you've got to go through courts, and you've got to do so much in order to get on ballots in all 50 states. And you need ballot access in every state. And right now there should be some movement, which I have a few friends that are working behind the scenes as party activists. I don't know if you call it party activists, but political activists who are trying to get more ballot access for people because we can't have this two-party system running the show anymore. They are running the country into the ground. As one of the 20-plus Democratic presidential candidates, Gabbard has campaigned on several libertarian themes, notably non-interventionalism in foreign entanglements. I would also say that's an original concept that the Founding Fathers put forth. It isn't just libertarian, it is common sense. A number of people are promoting her on the ticket with Amash. I'd like to know specifically who the people are. Michigan libertarians have had ballot line access for years. In 2016, their presidential nominee Gary Johnson ran ahead of his national 3% of the vote. I think he picked up 1%, so he got 3% in the water wonderland, as they call it. Look, folks, 3% isn't going to win us an election. I think we need to appeal. See, the Libertarian Party, like the Green Party, has a marketing problem. And both of these parties are looked at as fringe groups. And in order to make them not as fringe, you need a guy at the top like a Bernie Sanders. Jimmy Dore talks about this. You need someone who's charismatic, who is going to pull people over to them, and then by virtue of just being in that political party, they bring credibility to the party. So could Tulsi Gabbard do that? Could Justin Amash do that? I don't know. It's a wait-and-see game. I really thought, even though they were horrible candidates, you had Gary Johnson and Bill Weld, who are basically two establishment Republicans. And I don't see them caving to the military-industrial complex when it comes to war. Weld was like an attorney general or something. I mean, they were all just tied in, and they have friends in all of these high places. Johnson would be a little bit more of an outsider, but he's a horrible presidential candidate. He just, Aleppo? What's Aleppo? That didn't work out so well for him. Five-termer Amash is the lone Republican to consider impeachment charges against Trump. Okay, depending on what and how you're going to impeach Trump, I'd have to see his rationale for it. If he's doing the whole Russian collusion thing, then no, it's stupid. But if he's doing things like nepotism or corruption, and you can find the corruption, then absolutely. So in any event, this is an interesting development. This site gets a little crazy if you stay on it too long, so too many ads and my computer is beginning to freak out. But I don't know. I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard would even be considered in the Libertarian Party, because her progressive views are really important. People do care about Medicare for all. They do care about a living wage. And I think those things, that's what makes this guy from Arkansas who's running for U.S. Senate, This one makes him like the perfect mix of libertarianism, progressivism, truly independent, and I think that's where you need to go. I think whether you call it an independent progressive party, the IP party, or just the independent party, the economic independent populace of America, doesn't have a nice ring to it or whatever. But I think if you stay independent and hammer home what your platform is and combine different elements together, you could have a winning ticket. But this stuff, you got to plan out for this stuff. You can't just say, okay, I couldn't make it to the finish line as the Democratic nominee, so now I'm going to run over. I don't know if Tulsi Gabbard wants to do that. My guess is she wants to win in her own party. And if she can't do it, then we'll see what she does. I know she's a stickler for principle. So let's hope she sticks to those principles. All right, I'm done.